Hi guys, it's Mike Huq. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to do a short video on something that I don't think gets enough attention. What happens in the moment in our preparation? For those of you that have taken my course, The Path, or some other speakers like Brendon Burchard, Tony Robbins, they talk about preparation. I want to get in the moment, what I call in the moment training, when you're faced with that boss that you can't stand, he can't stand you, and you're interacting right there. Or you're at the Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner with that aunt or uncle or someone in your family that you know you're going to get into it with. We talk about beforehand, your preparation. We talk about thinking things afterwards. I want to give you some tips that you can use in the moment to make conscious decisions when you're dealing with high-pressure situations. I practice as an interventional cardiologist, which involved life-saving and life-threatening procedures, a lot of pressure on everybody, and I want to help you translate some of my experience into your own life. So let's get right into it. So when we're talking about in the moment, the first thing everyone needs to remember, and I'm going to quote Charlie Sheen here, who after all his problems says the most important thing he learned in anger management is that you can always walk away. So the first is avoid, of the 3 A's. So anytime you are entering or feeling you are entering that situation, family members say, oh, here we go again, or these are people that know us our whole lives, they can push our buttons and we push theirs. Remember, you can always avoid, so you can always walk away. Or if you're in a work situation, de-escalation of conflict, avoidance. So in the moment, you always have the choice to just walk away. Number 2, you can alter what you think about and during the situation. So something that I love to do in this type of situation is what Tony Robbins calls the emotional flood. Other people talk about heart coherence. It's simply putting your hand on your heart, taking a deep breath in, counting to 4, and out to 4. In for 4, out for 4. Tara Brach refers to this as the pause. So in any interaction, it's called in Buddhist thinking Prapaschana. Any interaction, if you take that pause, you have a much higher chance of presenting your best self. And I tell people we want to be the wizard brain, not the lizard brain. So we all have a reptilian response that comes from our amygdala, that's fancy doctor talk, which is our immediate response. What we want to do is give a frontal, prefrontal response, which is the wizard brain. So in any situation, you have a chance of how you're going to respond. Okay? So this is in the moment stuff, folks, and it's useful for all of us because every day there's about a half dozen times that we want to do something. You're going to take your car to work, you get there, oh my gosh, flat tire. All of us are going to see frustrations in our daily life, and we'll talk about something called FIFA, and that's something that I developed for looking at situations that frustrate us. But let's stick to the topic. What's number 3? Number 3 is what we learn with our meditation. It is what's called acceptance of the situation. What is stress? Stress is the inability to accept things the way that they are, or wishing that things would be different. That's all that stress is. When we live in the present moment, we have the ability to accept everything and everyone around us. So if you're going to that family dinner and one of your relatives or your brother or sister starts into you and you think, oh my gosh, here's that record again, you need to change the record in your head. And for those of you that are young people, a record is a little plastic thing that plays music. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody knows what a record is. So change that record in your head and just be mindful and say, oh, okay, that's this person doing this again. I accept that. I accept that's the way they are. I accept that's the way I am. And I accept my feelings. And simply by accepting and seeing things and observing as the outside observer that you are not your thoughts, and accepting that this is happening and being mindful, then it takes away the trigger of the energy. It's surrounded by a certain energy, and you have the choice. When somebody is sending you a negative energy, to just let it fizzle out like a sparkler. Most of us grab onto it and say, oh yeah, well this is what I have to say, and it just escalates. I was just walking downtown in Toronto and I saw a fight between these two young women, and it was exactly that. You said this, well you said this. Just two people waiting for the other person to finish talking so they could get in and get their point. That is not acceptance. So these are 3 things that you can do in the moment. Remember, at any time, in any situation, all of us can walk away. You can come back at a later time, so we say, excuse me, I need to just head out. We'll get back to this a little bit later. Okay? 2, you alter the way you think about it. So if someone is telling you something or is criticizing you, change the record and say, they care about me. That's why they're telling me this. So change, alter your thinking. And finally, accept. That's just the way it is, just at that time. It doesn't mean it's that way forever, just like a thought is going to leave us. It won't stay with us all the time. Just accept it. So those are 3 A's for any situation. Stay tuned for some other great videos. Check out our site. We've got tons of free stuff. And thank you so much for spending time with me today. All the best.